All right, let's take a look at these next three examples. Now, looking at these examples, I see that the values I'm given, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, and then this inverse cosine of radical 3 over 2, hopefully these are reminding you of your unit circle. All of these values are on your unit circle. So if we're being asked to find the exact value without a calculator, then what we're going to do is use our knowledge of the unit circle and just work through them. Also notice that compared to the last examples we did, we have inverse sine paired with cosine. In the last examples we did, we had inverse sine and a sine. Right? These were quote unquote the same. They were inverses of each other. We don't have that now. Okay, and here we have inverse cosine with tangent inside of it and cosecant with inverse cosine inside of it. So these are different examples. We're going to approach them differently, not only because we're given the special triangle characteristics, but also because these two are different, right? Sine and cosine. Okay, so let's jump into it. We're just going to work through it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to find what is the value of cosine of 2 pi over 3. So hopefully you have your unit circle pretty well memorized, but let's look over here and just get a picture of what we're doing. So where's 2 pi over 3 is right here. So the cosine of that is negative half. Great, so I'll just come over here and I'll put in inverse sine of negative half. All right, all I did was just substitute that value in there. So now I need to find an angle. Let's write down what this means. Let's write, well, let's just use theta. So the answer to this is some angle, right? So what does this mean? This means that the sine of some angle is negative half, and I have to figure out what that angle is. And by our restrictions, that angle has to be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So can you think of an angle? All right, we could go to our unit circle if we needed to. We need the sine to be negative half, which is our y value. So it's going to be here. Now we're not going to write 330 because we need our answer to be between, and we could write these in degrees if we wanted to, between these two numbers. And 330 is not between those two numbers. So we're going to express that as a negative, which is negative 30. All right, so let's just come down here. So the inverse sine of negative half is negative 30, or in radians, negative pi over 6. And that is our answer. All right, why don't you pause the video and try E, and then unpause it when you're done. All right, so the first thing we need to do is find the tangent of 3 pi over 4. So 3 pi over 4 is over here. Remember, these tangents of these 45-degree multiples, odd multiples, are 1 or negative 1. And so in this case, because of the quadrant, it's negative 1. And then the inverse cosine of negative 1, inverse cosine needs to be between 0 and 180, and so the inverse cosine of negative 1 is pi, or 180 degrees. So that's our answer. Alrighty, pause the video and give this next one a try, and then restart it when you're done. First thing we need to do is figure out what is the inverse cosine of 3 pi over 2. What is an angle that has a cosine of 3 pi over 2? That's between 0 and pi in the first or second quadrant. So that's in the first quadrant because it's positive, and that's pi over 6. Let's go take a look real quick. So here's pi over 6, and the x value there is root 3 over 2. So the cosine of pi over 6 is root 3 over 2. So we just substitute that in the parentheses. Now we need to find the cosecant of pi over 6, which is the reciprocal of the sine of pi over 6, and that is a half. The y value at pi over 6 is a half. So 1 over a half is 2, and there we have it.